Hello, and welcome to the Inovia Conversation. I'm Steve Waltz.
And I'm Jeff Progolski.
And today, Jeff, we have Ryan McBee from iSolutions. Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
And we're for our listeners that don't know, iSolutions is let me make sure I get it correct here. It's a credit card processing company. Are you more than that?
No, yeah, we're more than that. So we've been a longtime GP partner, and kind of like Inovia, we've been implementing and selling GP for the last 10 years, and obviously all the future growth is with BC, and so we developed an app for BC that does automated payments, collections, and things of that nature for BC.
So what you're saying, I was kind of close.
Yeah, kind of close. We're actually what we call a first data ISO, and there's there's 4 or 5 just major credit card processors in North America. First data does about 45% of that. So if you go into a Starbucks, United Airlines, or even to mom and pop shops, it's likely they're going to be the ones doing all the processing. And some of our competitors will white label first data, but we're just transparent, saying hey, that's who we're working with.
Well, very cool, Ryan. Welcome, and
thank you.
It was great to kind of hear a little bit about that. And so, Jeff and I would normally like to ask our guests maybe to tell our listeners a little bit about themselves. So maybe you can tell us a little bit of a little personal, then basically how you got to where you are, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I grew up in Kokomo, Indiana, and graduated from Indiana University in 2002, and I've pretty much been working in the Microsoft channel really since 2 years out of college. I got recruited to be a GP consultant, and pretty much been doing that ever since.
Yeah, and I know, we have worked with you, and one of the things I remember having a conversation a while back is how I think with the Microsoft roadmap, I think being a GP partner and kind of hearing their roadmap is that what really motivated you to do this solution, or maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously the writing has been on the wall the last 2 or 3 years that, all new sales are going to BC. And I think the idea of us, going out selling it, kind of like Inovia, just as you guys know, it's really hard selling new ERP systems. And I think the idea of us doing the app was, it just sounded like a lot more fun to us.
Well, cool. Well, as far as easy, we have Jeff, so we're good. He's our pre-sales engineer. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, I would still agree with Ryan's statement that that ERP. I mean, actually, when you get down to it, it's just about every part of ERP can be difficult. Of course, it helps if you've got a great partner like Inovia and a great ISV solution like iSolutions, but it still is, difficult. It affects almost everyone in your organization. And yeah, I think that, this space is a really serious space for businesses. So being able to have fun in it and, enjoy what you do every day it comes with a lot of responsibility. So I guess, Ryan, I was curious about the iSolutions, first of all, where you got that name from. And then secondly, how long have you been a part of the channel? You are relatively a new kid on the block, right?
Well, yeah, like I said, I've been in the GP channel for really since 2003, 2004. And then really in 2008, I started iSolutions. And in terms of name, that was really the time when the iPad was taking off, and iPhone, and my wife Sarah actually came up with the name iSolutions. And at first we're like, oh, we really have to find whatever that I means, and I was thinking it could be integrated solutions or intelligent solutions, but honestly, we never really landed on what that I stands for. It could be a lot of things.
I like it. Leave it undefined, and
Yep.
and then you say that I stands for me, for I.
Right.
All right. So, and actually, I guess what I meant is that maybe I misspoke. Our relationship with you is relatively new, and I'm just going to share this at the with understanding that I may be offending some of our longtime partners, but I think that in this space, like one of the things that I've noticed over the last 10 plus years that I've been in the channel is that with the change to BC, the way that Microsoft is deploying this, and with rolling out updates, keeping things fresh, it has really put a burden on the ISV solutions who are writing integrations to it, because the stuff is changing, whether it's maybe not the code base, which is pretty stable, but the way that they're deploying and the tools customers have to use to find you through AppSource, et cetera. So I think actually in a lot of ways, being a new solution means you've kind of grown up in that space. Your code is fresher. It's easier to port to, whatever the new devices are going to be, et cetera. So how do you feel as an ISV in terms of the direction that Microsoft is taking BC? Is it all butterflies and flowers for you, or how do you feel, I guess, about the general direction of BC?
Yeah, I'd say if you asked me that same question, 2 or 3 years ago, it'd be a lot different than it is today. But yeah, I think we're really excited about BC. There's, I think for customers, the price point is right, compared to some other solutions. Microsoft's continually, updating it. I think really what I see is it seems like they're kind of, selling like the whole package, and it's going to integrate with Microsoft Teams, which we're using right now, and all the other, solution stack.
Nice. Yeah, I think definitely from an end user perspective, I think it's all awesome stuff in terms of empowering the end user and adding more functionality into it. It's I think that as a partner, Steve will tell you that it is easier to onboard people now because of how great this solution is. I'm saying that tongue in cheek, Steve, because you might disagree with how many users. Like Steve is expected to add 200 users to our BC customer base, or 200 customers, I should say.
It keeps rising.
So yeah, it's just like the number of Microsoft certifications I have. It keeps going up every episode, even though I really don't have any more than the original 17 I started. Okay, so Steve, get me back on track. Ask Ryan a relevant question.
Well, all right. It's all subjective, but yeah, I think Ryan, being a partner, because you made the comment earlier, ERP systems is it's hard. It is. It's not a zero-sum game. And, we hear a lot from customers, especially if they're startup companies or coming from QuickBooks. They just think there's I'll just buy the licenses and set up and go. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. There's so many different ways things can do it. So I think having that background, do you feel that helped you with this solution, kind of knowing the pain, not the pain, but like what partners go through in trying to get customers up and running and to look at a solution like yours? Do you think that's helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we've been implementing these systems for, 15 years. And even though BC and GP are two totally different products, we know what end users expect. They want things very simple. The less clicking they have to do, the better. So that's definitely helped us. And there, honestly, there's been some things that we had in GP, that BC did not have, and we're actually trying to bring some of those things. Really, in the GP world, there were two ISVs, one for payments and one for collections. And I think what we're trying to do is, combine those into one for BC, so we can be a one-stop shop for, the partner and the customer.
So the solution that you have. So we have customers that have versions. Do we still have anybody before 2009, Jeff? I think we still have a couple.
Yep, we do. Yes. Yep.
And majority of them are now obviously that if they want to go to the next version, it is Business Central, and there's Business Central on premise, or you can put those licenses in Azure or whatever cloud. Then you have the BC SaaS. I guess with what you're doing now, does your solution work for all those customers, or does it work better for some? I'd like to hear your take on that.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we only work with BC. Our app was built in early 2019 with BC 15, so it was built from the ground up on BC. And I think you guys have obviously been long-term nav people, and from what I understand, just the architecture from traditional nav to BC, just we can't really just plug in our app and make it work backwards, unfortunately.
But if somebody had just say they want an upgraded or re-implemented or just bought the software and they're BC on premise, can they still use your solution?
Yep, they can.
Okay, and so what are you seeing? I guess is what I'm trying to find out. Are you seeing more of the SaaS, a hybrid, or
yeah? Honestly, every client we pick up is on the SaaS version of BC. I occasionally get requests for on-premise BC, which it does work, but I'd say it's less than 5%.
Wow, those are some surprising numbers, at least to me. What about you, Jeff? Do those numbers surprise you a little bit?
Maybe a little more skewed. I think we've got with our customer base being traditionally 30 years of nav. We're going to have a lot more of the on-prem stuff, but I bet I bet that for solutions that are in app source, I bet iSolutions mix of you're going to get 90+% of everyone on BC SaaS. That makes sense.
It does make sense, but the number seems. I was like, wow, well, that's great, right? So I guess another question I have, if I guess what the reason that maybe it caught me off guard a little bit is that we do have a lot of heavy manufacturing type of companies, and then we move them forward. But is the trend that you're seeing on people that are you getting more net new customers, or are you getting people that are kind of like have moved to BC, or what's your mix you're starting to see?
Yeah, I think what I'm seeing is it's people, we've got quite a few right now that are moving from QuickBooks onto BC. It seems like all new growth. There's not, we're not really picking someone up that says, hey, I've been on, NAV or BC for 15 years. It's all, new people. And, when they come from QuickBooks has some really basic features like you can have a quick pay on an invoice, and it's automatically going to write the cash receipt inside of BC. And when people sign up for BC, Microsoft pushes the PayPal link or the Microsoft Pay. And unfortunately, those things don't write the cash receipt back where our solution does. And so if you're coming from QuickBooks, people just expect that out of the box.
So if we had a customer that we just brought over to BC on premise or SaaS, how are those type of implementations going?
They're going pretty good. Really to get our app up and going really takes less than 3 or 4 hours. It's a very quick implementation.
Quick in Microsoft world? Did you hear that, Jeff?
Well, I did, and I'm sure Ryan meant that as a relative term. So right. it only takes like 18 months to implement, which is quick. That's right.
Easy to assemble.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your product and how it works in BC. Like, let's say I'm on AppSource. I'm looking around. I'm like, well, I need to do some of this stuff. Is there a suite of products that you're trying to get, or is there any specific part of your offerings that you're seeing the most activity in?
Yeah, definitely. We have really 2 modules within our app. One is the payment features, and then we have the collections piece too. And it seems like, everyone that signs up or usually signs up for both pieces.
Okay. Jeff, questions for Ryan?
Ooh, well, and maybe you touched on this a little bit, but in terms of, have you noticed a certain maybe in industry segment or a certain type of business that lends itself more? I mean, certainly in this day and age, every business is accepting credit cards in some way, but is there a certain number of credit card transactions that you feel, the ROI in investing in your solution makes sense? Does it make sense even if you're only handling 10 or 12 credit card transactions a month? Or
that's a good question. Usually when we have a prospect or someone that we talk to, the first thing I ask them is, hey, tell me a little bit about your business. Because really we have two types of customers, and the first type would be someone in distribution or manufacturing, and typically what they do is an order comes in and they'll do a pre-authorization on the sales order. And as that order ships, our app will automatically run a capture payment and post the cash journal. And so that's really, the first type of customer we have. Then the second type of customer we have, might be, billing professional services or, non-inventory type items. And then those type of customers will typically use our AR automation tools, and then the click to pay solution at the bottom of the invoice.
Got it. So you've got every scenario covered.
We do, yeah. One thing we're working on our app right now, and I want to give a shout out to my lead developer, Barb Outhouse. She actually lives up by you guys, but in Milwaukee. One thing we're working on right now is automated collection plans. So you can create a plan and you could say, hey, I want to send a reminder every Monday morning for anyone that's, past due 30 days. And we actually have one scenario a customer brought up that said, hey, I want to send my customer a reminder 5 days before their invoice is due, and, have a click to pay solution. So those are the type of things we're working on right now.
Awesome. I know people in collection departments all over that are listening will be running to your website to get info on that. Those all sound like great ideas. Prior to joining Innovia, I spent 17 years mismanaging a small family business, and we were an HVAC contractor. And let me tell you, like any other organization, we were undercapitalized, and certainly collections was a big part of. And we ran on QuickBooks, and just having, it was always a drag to go through and send out reminders, check in with people, and I think now having a solution like that is everyone. I'm sure everyone can benefit from it. So along those lines, how do we point customers, interested prospects, in the right direction towards learning more about iSolutions?
Sure. Anyone interested in our product could go to the Innovia page that you guys have set up for our product, and they can find us on the Microsoft App Store as well.
Very cool. So Ryan, when I think of the app, like, somebody's using your solution, and as you keep developing and improving it, do customers need to do anything, or does it update itself?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Microsoft, they will, I think twice a year, they will push out the latest version of our app automatically.
Okay.
And they, people do have the ability to, one thing Microsoft came out with, I think like a couple months ago, if you go to the admin panel and for BC, there's a new button on there. It says like manage apps. And if they click on that, it'll show like, hey, there's a newer build, and then they can schedule the update. So that's a really cool feature that just came out.
I did not know that. Did you know that, Jeff?
I might have known that, Steve, but
well, I figured.
I keep a lot. I am, after all, a pre-sales guy. I've got to be
pre-sales engineer.
Yeah, I don't know. call me that. But I mean, there's that's just another example of exciting new stuff that's out there.
Yeah, because when you're talking about collections, it's funny because I kept thinking, well, my family does water well drilling business, and our collections was our cousin Vinny and Guido. Can we maybe should make an app for them, right? We'll come knocking on your door. Give us
that would be a good one. Yeah, I just think with everything going on, especially with COVID, everything is just done electronically now with payments, and like if you're cutting someone a check, I mean, even right now, just take weeks to get there. So there's just a big time lag. So, one thing our solution does have is e-checks. So if people want to avoid, credit card fees, they can get their customers sign up for e-checks. And also one thing we implemented last month on our app is the ability to pass along those convenience fees to your customer. So if you're, using our app in BC, you can say, hey, if you're going to pay me with credit card, I'm going to, add a fee of $5 a transaction or maybe a percentage, and that goes to the customer. However, if they pay you with ACH or e-check, that those fees will be avoided.
Nice.
Very cool. So I guess Jeff asked you how they can get in contact with you. So I guess one last question I would have is, being new into the channel and seeing what else is out there, I mean, what if somebody's an end user, questions that we get asked all the time is, well, what makes this one different than the other one? And so I guess I'm asking you, what makes your solution different than the other offerings on the market?
Yeah, I think what makes our solution different is we're doing much more than just taking a credit card payment. Anyone could go write an app that allows a credit card payment inside of BC. That's easy. I think what we're doing is we're just taking it to the next level. We're automating the whole order to cash cycle.
Okay. And I'm going on our website. A lot of, I don't know if a lot of our listeners, we're very transparent. We have a list on our website. You can actually go to Novia.com, click on the area. It says Business Central and Nav, and then you'll see an area for ISV solutions, and you click on learn more. And I'm hoping that you're on there. I'm just kidding, Ryan. You're on there. we have Tim and Keith. I knew you were on there, but our marketing guys are so good. They reorganize and make it look better, but they don't tell us. And I'm looking. Actually, there's a picture of you. So if you want to see what Ryan looks like and watch a video, he's on our website. So very cool. And for an IU guy, you're actually not. You're a pretty handsome guy. So
Oh, thank you.
I got two that went to Purdue, and so that's another story. So, but hey, we appreciate any other questions, Jeff, for Ryan?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you, Ryan, for sharing about iSolutions as well as yourself. I think we are always hoping to sort of through these podcasts introduce our listeners to to relevant content, and I think especially as our BC practice has sort of bloomed into this into what it is today, which is a roaring machine. I think that knowing giving options, because certainly there are other credit card processing apps that are out there that integrate with BC and Nav, but having options for our customers and finding the right fit is what it's all about. And I know that any of the feedback I have heard about working with iSolutions from our Novia team has been great, and I assume that that is going to be the case for everyone. So thank you for joining us today.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on.
So once again, we want to thank Ryan for joining us. And as we said earlier, you can find us on Novia.com. We're heavily involved on LinkedIn. And Jeff, I think this podcast is over.
All right. Is it time to drop the mic?
Wait a second. Okay, go ahead.
All right. That's the best thing. Like at some point we are going to invest in a sound clip that drops the mic. But until then, it's like me sounding like an exhausted horse. All right. Thanks, everyone. Until next time, we will see you.
We haven't ended it yet, Jeff? I thought we ended it.
No, I'm not. I've got my finger over the stop recording button. But
okay.
All right. I'm going to end it now.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone. Say bye, Steve.
Goodbye.
Bye.
No, you just say bye, Steve.
Bye.
Like,
Bye,
Bye,
Steve.
Steve.